Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of the Go-To Podcast with me, your host, Anthony DiDomenico, coming to you from downtown, beautiful Long Island, New York. We are here recording another episode. Another week has gone by, and I am very happy to be here, very happy to be recording this episode and getting to spew more of my nonsense into the world. If you are listening to this, it is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day. I don't know, do you say happy Memorial Day? I guess so, but it's more of a day of remembrance and being thankful and honoring the men and women who have sacrificed the ultimate sacrifice so we can have our freedoms in this country, which I do not take for granted. It allows me to come on here and say whatever I want to say, and it's crazy that at places in the world you can't do this, and I'm very grateful and thankful for the freedoms that I have, and I have the utmost respect and appreciation for people who have served in our armed forces, because it is something. Let me fix my microphone here. It is something that I know I could never do. I would not have um the I don't have the am I brave? The bravery for it, the gumption for it, and any just what it takes, the testicular fortitude that it takes to serve in the military. I know I couldn't do it. So I have the utmost respect for those who have. So, while we're sitting here on Memorial Day, thinking about the things we couldn't do, let's just think about some of the things that we can do because of the brave men and women who have sacrificed their lives for our country. So thank you. And if you're serving now, thank you for your service. If you're going into the military, you are braver than most people in this country. And you always have an ally in me, and I will support anything that the soldiers do. I'm not saying I support what the government does. I'm just saying I always will be backing the soldiers because, again, they're following orders and they're just, they're doing it for us so we could be free. And that's something I do not take for granted. And I was saying that because, here on Long Island, we've had a wash, so to speak, as far as Memorial Day. The long weekend that we all look forward to, the kickoff of summer. It's rained here both Saturday and Sunday, and Monday is supposed to rain up until like 1 o'clock. So, we bitch and moan about that, not be able to go to the beach or have these plans outside. Yeah, is it inconvenience? Absolutely. But just sit back and be thankful that you live in a free country, the greatest country in the world, and be thankful to the men and women who made it that way. Me personally, I'm okay as long as I'm off from work. I'm having some good cigars. I'm enjoying myself. I could have fun anywhere. Also, another reason why I'm not that upset about what's going on with the weather is because my New York Knicks are absolutely killing it in the Eastern Conference Finals. Oh my God, we are one win away from the NBA Finals. The Knicks have not been to the NBA Finals in 27 years. This is insane. Since 1999. And tomorrow night, Monday night, if you're listening to this podcast on Monday, then I'll be right now. I'm probably at the lounge smoking a Drew Estate Undercrown Maduro Gordo 6x60. That's been my go-to cigar when I watch the Knicks. And I am a creature of habit, and I will continue to do that. And hopefully tomorrow night, we close it out. We're going to the NBA Finals, and we will face the winner of the Spurs and OKC. That series is tied at 2. But this Knicks run is something I've never seen before. I've been a Knicks fan since I'm 12, 13 years old. And even with the early 90s Knicks going into 99, I've never seen a Knicks team like this before. That's dominated. That's played both sides of the ball. And it's exciting. And if the New York Knicks end up winning the NBA championship. New York City will probably burn to the ground in the best way possible. But Jalen Brunson will be the undisputed king of New York. They will erect statues to him. They will name children after him. Probably the whole starting five will have children named after them. It'll be like, they'll speak of them, in a folklore kind of way. In the way that, Derek Jeter gets spoken of with the Yankees and, Mickey Mantle, Phil Simms, Lawrence Taylor, Joe Namath with other teams, Tom Seaver with the Mets. These players that have done unbelievable things and brought championships to New York. You have the Islanders dynasty with Potvin, Nystrom, Gillies, Bossy, Trottier. These guys are legends, living legends. Well, some of them are not alive anymore, but the ones that are alive are living legends, and they are looked upon as such. And you'll have that with the Knicks if they pull this off, which I hope they do. I need it. But anyway, let's not get into let's not make this a sports podcast. It's becoming that way. I'm sorry because of the Knicks run. I'm all excited about it, and it's over. It's taking over my life. It's consuming my being, so to speak, because I'm so invested in this. I'm sorry. Everything's hitting each other. I'm making noise here. You know what? I'm recording this late. I have. Let me just try to fix this thing here. The microphone keeps hitting it, and I apologize about that. I've been seeing something for a while as I pull up and get my coffee, and I see it other places. I don't understand what it is, nor do I want to, and that is Dubai chocolate. I went to get a coffee the other day at Dunkin' Donuts, and I pulled up and it said something with Dubai chocolate. I saw a cake. It just looked like a chocolate cake with grass growing out of it. And looking into it, it's some kind of cake with, it's like chocolate with pistachio. And I don't know. This does not look appealing to me or appetizing. It looks like it's this green mess with chocolate. Is this supposed to be fancy chocolate? Is this rich people eat? I don't want any part of it. I don't want no Dubai chocolate. I don't want a Dubai chocolate cake. I don't want Dubai chocolate coffee. I don't want a frappuccino with it. I don't want anything with it. Just keep it away from me. It just does not look good. It does not look appetizing. I don't know. It's a weird looking thing. I haven't done that much research into it. Somebody just told me it was like with pistachio, but it would look like grass. The cake looked like it was, when it was cut open, it looked like it was grass inside of it. I don't know. I'm not sophisticated enough for this to be good to me. I don't have a refined palate, so to speak. I don't have, I'm low class, so I don't have. That's not going to be up my alley. So if you invite me over, don't have a Dubai chocolate cake or coffee waiting for me because it's going to be the worst night of my life. This podcast tonight is going to be a bit from now on. We have very positive up front with the Knicks and other things, but this is going to be a little bit of not complaining, but just things that I find wrong in the world and that I'm annoyed at and that bothers me, and I have to get it off my chest. So that's why I formed the podcast. And hopefully you'll be there with me with this and you'll understand what I'm talking about and not go, oh, he's crazy. He's just lost his mind. So please join me in the next few minutes, probably the rest of the podcast. In the rest of the podcast, this is my airing my grievances, so to speak, my go-to grievances. One, this is probably one that annoys me, and maybe it's a thing people are doing, but people who send me their social media posts that I follow, people who I follow on social media, DMing you their reels, their posts, or texting you the posts. Like, I follow you, dude. I'll see it eventually. Are you just sending it to me so I could watch it and you can get views? And here's the thing, the people that are doing this they're not actively liking my stuff. They're not all in on my stuff. I'm not gonna like here and there, but like, what are we doing? I don't send this to anybody. When I make a reel, I just send it out to the universe. And whoever sees it sees it. But I just don't get people sending the social media posts. Like, trying to get me engaged. Is that what you trying to do? You trying to get me engaged in it? I think it's dumb. And I've told my buddy Ryan does this. My buddy Ryan Marr, a very funny comedian. Follow him on Instagram, Ryan Marr Comedy. I'll give him a shout out because I'm about to make fun of him. He'll like screenshot Facebook posts and send them and text them to me because he wants me to get in on the conversation on Facebook. I'm like, I'll see it when I see it. I'm working. I'm driving somewhere. Like, it's not like, what are we like? What is this? Passing notes in school? But I get people who make reels and just straight up DM me with no like explanation, nothing. That, hey, how you been? How about that for once in a while? Hey, how have you been? Are you okay? Everything's okay? I don't get those messages from anybody. I just get them sending me their reels so I can be part of the algorithm and everything else. Sorry, no. You want me to look at your stuff? I'll see it probably eventually because I do follow you. But how about hey, how you doing? Let's have a conversation first, and then maybe I'll get involved in that. Another thing is, as I get older, I lose patience for fakeness, people being fake. And listen, it's even happening with this Knicks run. Go back to the Knicks. People pretending to be Knicks fans who weren't Knicks fans at all. Front runners, bandwagons. I don't like it. I didn't like it when the Yankees were winning championships. I don't like it now when the Knicks are getting good. Either you're a Knicks fan or you're not a Knicks fan. And someone said to me, when did you become a Knicks fan? I said, well, I was like 12, 13 years old. Go, well, they were good. I'm like, yeah, but that's when you start watching sports. When you're like, when you really start following it. And I became a Knicks fan because my cousin Joe is a big Knicks fan. And here's the thing. When I was 12 years old, people were a lot of Knicks fans because it's New York, but no one was like rushing to be a Knicks fan. Everybody was jumping on the Bulls bandwagon. Most of the kids I went to school with were Bulls fans because of Michael Jordan, and they were winning championships year after year. So a lot of people gravitated towards the Chicago Bulls. I remember when they won their first championship, we were on our class trip in Washington, D.C., and the next day, all the kids had Chicago Bulls hats. They made their parents go out when we were on the trip and buy Chicago Bulls hats. Just immediately jumped on the bandwagon. So I don't want that done to the Knicks either. I don't like it with any of my teams. I don't like fakeness. And I see a lot of people, and this is what I guess social media is becoming, and with AI, it's exploding. People making themselves into something they're not. And listen, if you don't know the person, yeah, you're all in, you're believing it, I guess. But you could spot AI. I mean, it's come on. But like men in their late 40s, 50s, bragging about their cars and money and houses and name dropping who they know. You look dumb, and no one wants to be around you when you do this. Nobody cares. Let me tell you something. If somebody's sitting there telling me how much money they have or what cars they can get, I don't care. You're not cool. It's not 7th grade. I'm not impressed. I wasn't impressed then. I'm not impressed now. You know what impresses me? Being a good person. I have friends who are well off. You wouldn't even know about it. but they do the right thing. They take care of their family. They're generous with their friends. I have a friend who makes a very good living, and maybe it was a couple of years ago. I don't know. I thought there was something going down at my job and this and that. I was gonna get fired or whatnot, and I was nervous because listen, I live somewhat paycheck to paycheck. You know, I like to spend money. I probably could. I probably wouldn't. I've actually started cutting down on some of my expenses to have a little something extra, and it's about that time. I'm getting to be older, but the the truth of the matter is, I'm a single guy in my 40s, and I spend more than I should. And I was worried because like I didn't have a nest egg to fall back on, and what am I going to do? And I'm going to get unemployment, but it's not what I'm making. And this friend of mine, I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't want me. It's not what he does, but he said to me, he goes, "No friend of mine's ever going to sleep on the street. You'll be okay." He goes, I got you until you get back on your feet." And I was like, "Dude, I wouldn't even ask that." He goes, "I know you wouldn't." And he goes, "None of my friends would, and they wouldn't have to." He goes, "I would just do that for them." And he kind of said, like, "Listen, I'm not gonna say, but I do okay and this and that." And you know what? That I would be the same way. I always say, if I won the lottery, I have a list of people I give money to that have been good to me over the years, that have done things for me that they probably don't even realize. So if I ever win the lottery, some people got some things coming to them that they weren't expecting because of their kindness and because they showed that kindness to me or my family. And I believe in that. You pay it forward. But these people that go on social media and they use AI to try to make you believe that they have something they don't, that's not cool. It's ridiculous. You look ridiculous. No one cares at a certain age. And especially there's people that come into our cigar lounge that do this. And I'm like, it's all dudes here. What do you do? You trying to fuck one of us or something? Like seriously, no one's impressed. No one cares. It's all dudes. Like who's impressed by any of that? I know I'm not. I didn't like it in school when guys bragged. I don't like it now. You always had the kid in school that bragged about like what his parents got them and this and that, blah blah blah. People that name drop, they think they know famous people. Here's the thing: I've been around famous people being a comedian. How many pictures do you see of me with these people? None. Because when I was with them, I acted like I belonged in the room. I wanted to be looked at as a comedian, a serious comedian. I didn't want to be looked at as a stupid open micer or a wannabe that was there getting a picture. I work with Kevin James more than I can count. He would come into the clubs, run material. I got to work with him. I got to hang out with him. I never took one picture. I never asked to take a picture with him. And you know what? He appreciated that and would ask me to, when they had the curtain up, he would call me in sometimes to sit and chat. And I have that memory. I have those memories. And to me, that means more than anything. I didn't take a picture and post it every year. Like I'm some sort of like, Johnny come lately wannabe hack open mic comedian. I'm very lucky. I got to open for a lot of people who are famous and never took one picture. The only person I took a picture with was Vinny from the Jersey Shore. Because I don't look at him as a comic, and it's the Jersey Shore, so that's the one time I acted like a fanboy. Even wrestlers, I never like I was professional with the wrestlers. I took pictures with them. Um, but none of the comedians. I never did because I wanted to be looked at as a serious comedian, and I wanted to be, I didn't want to seem like I was just, happy to be in the room. I wanted to feel like I belonged there, and you know what, I think I got that reaction from that respect. So in that regards, um, I'm happy I didn't do that. I have the memories, I have the stories, and that's really what's most important. I don't need to name drop. I don't need to put myself in an AI picture and pass it off as me somewhere that I'm not, or in a car that's not mine, or in a house that's not whatever. It's just stupid. And that's the problem with AI. Things look kind of real, but you gotta learn how to spot things. That's what I do. I spot things and I pick it out. I call people out. And as we're talking about the cigar lounge, just wanted to go over some cigar lounge etiquette. There is an etiquette to cigars. I know people view cigars, I guess, in two different ways. You could look at it like as a gentleman's hobby, as I do. I'm a gentleman. People look at it as disgusting, vile thing. Either way, there's an etiquette when you're at a cigar lounge that you need to follow. Couple of things. One, don't ever put the cigar in your mouth and use the house cutter. Somebody did this the other day, and it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? Why would you? He's like, oh, I didn't realize it. Yeah, what do you mean you don't realize it? It's in your mouth, and you're going to use the cutter that everybody else has got to use. You don't understand that. You don't comprehend that. Another thing is, don't be on speakerphone so everybody hears your conversation. Also, that ties into do not watch videos on your phone at a loud volume. Invest in earbuds. If you don't want to spend the big money on the wireless ones, they have ones that are wired still. Invest in a pair of headphones. People are sitting there trying to relax and enjoy themselves. They don't need to be enthralled in your conversation or really know what you're watching on TikTok or Instagram or anything else, YouTube. And if you don't have it, please keep it at a respectable volume. If you do any of this near me with your phone, if you're on speakerphone near me and it's loud and I can hear it, I will yell penis so the person that you're on the phone with hears it. I do it all the time. People are on, their social media and they're talking loud into it, or they're on FaceTime and they're blah, 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 and I just go, penis, and I'll keep doing it until you get off. That's how I counter that. I'm not pleasant. I've told you that. Another thing is at the lounge, do not stomp your cigar out in the ashtray. When you're done with your cigar, just drop it and leave it. It'll go out on its own. When you take the cigar and you start mashing it and pushing it into the ashtray, it makes a cloud of smoke that's unnecessary, that's uncomfortable for the people around you. It's just not what you do. Just take it, put it in there. You don't need to bash it in and crank it, and then the smoke gets everywhere. It's burnt, bad smelling smoke. Just think about the person next to you. Yeah, I mean that's really it. I'm sure there's more stuff I could probably go into it, but that's the main stuff. That's the main bugaboo. Also, don't whistle out loud. Don't sing out loud if you have your earbuds in or whatever. There was a guy a couple of months ago. He was actually singing at the lounge. He had the music on speaker, so we all heard what song he was listening to, and he was singing along to it. And I take it upon myself to be the social assassin, And I just went, oh, do we all got to hear that and hear you sing? And they go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize. You know, it's a getaway. Excuse me, my allergies have been just ridiculous this month. But the Cigar Lounge is a getaway. It's a sanctuary, so to speak. It's a place that some people are just looking for a little quiet or looking for a little peace. And anything you do to add, listen, I know it's not going to be quiet. There's going to be people watching games. There's people, talking, having conversations. But whatever you could do to not add to someone's disenjoyment of the lounge is much appreciated. We'll end the podcast on a high note, so to speak. We're going to talk about my go-to movie of the week. And this is a movie I have not seen in years. And I am so glad that I actually watched this movie because it was a movie that came out in 1993, written by Quentin Tarantino. It is called True Romance. It is starring Christian Slater and Patricia Arquette. And this movie is so, so good. If you have seen True Romance, you probably haven't seen it in a while. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It was almost like fate that it came on. I went to just put on Netflix the other day and it was there. I'm like, oh my God, I haven't seen this in so long. And what an incredible cast in this movie. I'll just go down. I'll go down the list. And a lot of people were in this movie before they became famous, before they got their big break. Because, again, this came out in 1993. So it starred Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, in one of my favorite Gary Oldman roles. You have to see the movie probably just for that. He plays a pimp, and his character is absolutely fantastic. Brad Pitt was in this movie before he was Brad Pitt. He was always Brad Pitt, but you know what I'm saying? Like before, I think it was about a year before Interview with the Vampire, or a couple years before that. Christopher Walken, Bronson Pinchot, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Rappaport, Chris Penn, Tom Sizemore, and last but not least, the king himself, James Gandolfini. I mean, this cast was perfect. And True Romance, I'll give you a little of the backstory of it. It's this guy, Christian Slater. His boss hires a call girl for him because he thinks he's lonely, and they fall in love, and they get in a little trouble. And then the mafia's after them, and blah, blah, blah. And then, but you get the rest, and I don't want to spoil the movie for you. But this movie's awesome. It really is. It's a fantastic movie. And anything by Tarantino, even just written by, is great. And I think he took the money for that he made from the screenplay and made Reservoir Dogs with it. I think that's how that went. But it's beautifully written. Michael Rappaport's character is great. Again, Gary Oldman's character is fantastic. It's so out of the Gary Oldman can play any character. I am convinced. He's a chameleon. Johnny Depp gets a lot of, which he rightfully should, could play any, he morphs into any role, but Gary Oldman does the same thing. Gary Oldman's played roles where he is, Sid Vicious in Sid and Nancy. He is, Commissioner Gordon in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. He's this crazy dreadlocked, scarred face pimp in True Romance. He's got a great range, and I absolutely love this character. Christian Slater is great in the movie too. It's just it's a great movie. I don't want to say too much about it and ruin it. I just want people to go watch this movie this week. It's on Netflix. True Romance, 1993. A young James Gandolfini's in. I was thinking too, like Gandolfini. So when Sopranos aired in 1999, he was like 38 or 90. Yeah, so he was like 38 when The Sopranos aired. So when this came out, he was like 32, 33. And I've seen a bunch of early James Gandolfini stuff. The guy was a phenomenal actor. He was in a movie called Angie with Gina Davis. That he was great in. Before The Sopranos came out, he was in 8mm with Nicolas Cage. And then just other movies. He's been in The Mexican. Anything he does is great. He was a phenomenal actor. We lost him too soon. We all know that. But he was more than just Tony Soprano. So definitely check this out. He plays a hitman in this movie. So not like, kind of like a Tony Soprano-esque character, but a little different. And I love Christian Slater's character in this, because it takes a turn right away that you would not expect it to take. And I guess that just shows, like, when you meet the one, no matter if it's one night, how you meet, whatever, they become your life, and you'll do anything for them. So please go and watch this movie. I beg of you, please. You do one thing this week: watch True Romance. Well, I want to thank everybody who joined us for episode 9 of the Go-To Podcast. I'm having a blast with these. I hope you're having a blast listening. And if you are, please go and 5-star rate and review on whatever podcast platform you listen to. We're on all of them, from Apple, Spotify, YouTube. We were on YouTube too at the Go-To Pod. Give us a subscription, a subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube. I have a link in the episode and on my pages. Buy me a coffee. The money goes back into the podcast, keeps the lights on, letting us do this fine work that we're doing here. Pays for my hosting fees and so on and so on. Lets me have the up-to-date fancy equipment that we have that shows the Foch in such an eloquent way. You can follow me on Instagram over at Comic Anthony D, and there's a link tree there as well with all the links. Once again, 5-star rate and review. Buy me a coffee. The link's up. And subscribe to the YouTube channel over at Go-To Pod. Once again, thank you so much for joining me here on this episode. Have an awesome week, and I will talk to you later.